Chalo was on his way back home from work. He was exhausted and, quite frankly, not in a very good mood. Work had been draining. It had been frustration after frustration. He just wanted the day to end. He got home to his wife cooking ugali and some greens, as if the day could not get any worse. His young son, 7 years old, was in the living room watching some Nickelodeon shows. It was 8:45 p.m., just 15 minutes after his bedtime. This annoyed Chalo further. He has repeatedly made it clear that the boy should not be awake past 8:30 on school nights. It was Wednesday, so the boy had school the next day. He says hi to his son and marches to the kitchen. "Why the hell do you never listen to me?" is the first thing he says to his 5'4" wife. Chalo is easily a Viking of a man, standing at 6'1". He effortlessly towers over his wife. Hello to you too. What have I done this time?" She responded. She was trembling but trying so hard not to let him see her fear. He usually takes advantage of the fear. He feeds off of it, like a predator to a prey. She knew that there was a high likelihood that a blow would come flying any minute now. He was in that type of mood. She was scared. "Why is Junior still up? And why are you cooking this crap?" His voice had risen. Hers was shaking now. "I got home later than usual today. There was a lot of things to do at work. So I decided to cook something easy. Plus, I'm exhausted." Exhausted? "Listen, I don't work this hard to eat like this," he protested, pushing a plate off the counter. It landed on the floor and broke. Their voices kept rising by the minute, Chalo in anger and his wife in fear. Junior could hear them. Heck, everyone within 100-meter radius could. The neighbors were probably used to it by now, the shouting and the screaming. For some reason, they never interfere. However, some of the bold women in the area have brought it up with Mrs. Chalo, suggesting couples therapy, and the more daring ones telling her to leave that shack of a marriage. She has never acted on either of those suggestions. A therapy proposition would only brew a fight and a slew of insults. And leaving is not an option. They have a child and a life together. The fight had intensified, and Junior could not ignore all the noise. He stood at the kitchen door and watched as his father raised his hand and smacked his mother. He was at the kitchen door as his mother let out a shrill scream. He wished he could do something. He wished he could stand up for his mother. He wished he was strong enough to challenge his father, the villain in this case. But most of all, he wished his parents could just get along. He loved both, and just like it hurt him to see his own father hurt his mom, it hurt him just as much to have to choose sides. What Junior didn't know is that just roughly 3 decades back, his father, Chalo, was in those exact shoes. Well, as far as watching his father totally annihilate his mother, it had been the norm in Chalo's young world. Most men in his village were doing it. It was no big deal. Instead of remorse for beating his mother, Chalo respected his father, feared him even, but respected him. Men were revered for disciplining their wives. Nobody complained about it. The women accepted their fate, and the men gloated about it to their peers. The more battered the wife, the more recognized the man. It was the norm. It was the culture. You have to assert dominance in your house. Never let a woman disrespect you. His father would tell him over and over. Often, Chalo's father would sit the boy down and disparage his wife and women in general. Women are slow. Women are stupid. Women are too emotional. You need to keep them on their toes or they won't get nothing done. At times, when Chalo will do something that displeased his father, like taking too long to finish a task, the father would mockingly compare him to a woman. "You have been splitting that log for an hour. What are you, a woman?" To Chalo, that was the most demeaning thing anyone could call him, a woman. He had developed a deep-seated disdain for women. He looked down on his own mother. Other women did not stand a chance. Not his sisters, not his love interests even. Was it his fault? Was it society's? Do we blame his father and the village men for planting the seed of misogyny in him, or do we blame the apparent patriarchy? As a grown-up, a learned man with a good job, living in the city in these changed times, Chalo had evolved in every other way except his mindset towards women. To him, they are forever inferior. It makes him sick to see a woman, much less younger than him, driving a better car. He can't stand the fact that he has female superiors at work. He never articulates it, but he detests that his wife has a thriving career and things going on besides being a submissive wife who bends to his every whim. And to him, the solution is to discipline her into conforming to the role. This, of course, involves occasional battering. Sometimes it's a slap, other times it's a full-on assault that leaves her black and blue. Chalo and Junior may have been in the exact same situation at the age of 7, standing, watching as their father beat their mother to a pulp. But the two could not be any more different. For Chalo, his father beating up his mom made him respect the man more. He showed authority and he could put everyone in their place. And most importantly, he was feared. Chalo admired his father's bravado. On the other hand, Junior watched on bitterly as the man he looked up to hurt the sweetest human he knew, the person he loved most in the world, his mom. He felt helpless and wished he could do more. Junior will not grow up to be his dad like Chalo did. As soon as he's able, he'll protect his mother. He'll protect all the women he crosses paths with, and he will make sure that when he gets a wife, one day, he will be her safest haven. Mrs. Chalo is many women today and over the years. She's a wife and a mother who has created a life with a man who has total disregard for women. A woman who has worked hard to be where she is and is hesitant to leave it all behind because of the abuse she endures once in a while. She has grown comfortable in it so that it does not feel like the threat it really is. He has good days too, she reasons. Mrs. Chalo is one of those women who may end up as a statistic of gender-based violence. There are roughly 45,000 girls and women in a year because she has accepted it as her fate. Hopefully, she will get wary of it and walk away for her safety and at the very least, bring her husband to justice.